Hello and welcome to Black Bear Atheist. Today we'll continue our series with Matt Powell trying to prove that creationism makes more sense or is right and evolution is obviously wrong. Let's get into the video.
You can see here it says question, are chickens related to the T-Rex? Answer, yes. Science has revealed compelling evidence that the T-Rex actually evolved into a chicken. So from Jurassic Park's worst monster to lunch at KFC, that's what they think. They literally think that chickens are descendants of dinosaurs. And some of
They don't just think they are. It's not just a think or a thought. There's evidence backing this. Not just chickens, birds also.
them will say, well, every bird in the sky is a dinosaur. Let's go ahead and get back on track. So in the creation model, we believe that mankind was designed, but in evolution, they teach that humans descended from primates. And I don't have long to get into this because this is kind of just a basic seminar. It has a lot of basics in it. We don't really go super deep into any of these topics.
A basic seminar. This is the first point in all its bullets that actually deals with something that evolution claims in a sense that we evolved from primates and our ancestors with apes current like chimpanzees and monkeys are related to our ancestors. We have a common ancestor. This is the only thing so far that is related to evolution that he has mentioned.
Though we could. But I'd like to point out that it's very rational to understand that two humans conceived the world's population and that we didn't descend from primates. And some people
The chance of that happening is as low as it gets. Like there's diseases, there's other factors that plays into it that two humans can just repopulate or populate the entire planet. It just doesn't work. There would be too much inbreeding and you don't have enough time in your creation model, which is well again 6,000 years for it to get to 8 billion people. It just does not make sense.
are now claiming that one of our earliest ancestors was a jellyfish. What makes more sense? Come on, that a jellyfish conceived all of mankind over time? That somehow a family of jellyfish turned into a family of people over a bunch of successive generations? Or that two people conceived the world population? Adam and Eve
I mean, it's not like the jellyfish actually made human. It was a long process from a jellyfish to land mammals, which led to like our ancestors, which lead from our ancestors, which were also like smart. Some of them have big brains, different features, which led to us. It wasn't like a jellyfish all of a sudden overnight turned into a human. That isn't what happened. I mean, if you think that's what happened, I don't. I guess that's why you think it's stupid. But that's not even what evolutionists claim. So I don't know where you get that from.
were real people who actually existed in the past. And the alternative to Adam and Eve is the assertion that biological
The people that we can't find any evidence of, and they just exist in your head and in the Bible. Again, it's not possible for two people to repopulate the entire planet. It's just not. The chances of that is extremely low. Also, if you're just saying God created them and God made it happen, it doesn't make sense. And they apparently live hundreds of years, and we know that not to be a thing that actually happens. So far, max a human have actually lived is between 120 to 130. No one is living hundred of years. There's no evidence of we're not finding any fossil of Adam and Eve, which we should be able to find since they just 6,000 years ago. We're finding some fossils of dinosaurs that were millions of years ago. Adam and Eve was 6,000 years ago. We should be able to find them. We should be able to find these people. We should be able to find evidence of Noah's flood. We should be able to find evidence of Moses. I mean, don't we have the location where it's supposedly supposed to be buried or around those places? We should have location of all these things, but we don't have any fossils of them. These are just fictional character made for a political reason. It's a religious text, but it also has political ideas in it because obviously you have to control the mass. And religion was a way to do so. But I guess Matt Power was right after all. I guess we can just leave out all the evidence, leave out everything that makes sense, and go along with a fairy tale book.
Biological organisms somehow came alive in the water. Remember, water destroys them. But even if we enter into fantasy land and pretend that it's true that water created this organic material that turned into life and all of this life started to diversify, mutations
There's life in the ocean. Like life, the organisms living in the ocean.
would have killed these organisms before they could have even diversified. They teach in evolution that we mutated from a single-celled organism to humans over time. Mutations are the reasons for cancer, Down syndrome, and autism, sickle cell anemia. All of these things are caused by mutations.
Mutations can be both good, neutral, or bad. So sometimes you end up with a good mutation, not a bad one. So just because you're presenting examples of mutations that are bad doesn't mean they aren't good mutations.
Mutations are what cause death. Ultimately, we will die from mutations if we live long enough as humans. But according to Darwinists, mutations are what cause us to evolve. It's what makes us better because beneficial mutations get selected, and those beneficial mutations benefit populations more and more and more and more, and so those organisms become better and it's survival of the fittest. The fittest organisms will reproduce and create even more fit organisms. Well, that's not true. Mutations aren't going to make
But it is. It's not just mutation, it's traits that are found in evolution. Like, for example, like moth, the white or black moth, it was a. I'm not sure exactly when they did this experiment or observe it rather, but they changed colors to help to help them survive. In a place where it's more gray and dark trees, you see the moth turning more into black, and the places where it's more white, you see the moth turning to more white. I'm not sure if I'm precisely explaining what it looks like, but it shows that evolution and organism changes, they changes the trait and certain traits to help them survive more. And that's exactly what happened. Over time, there's gonna be accumulation of more and more traits, which is gonna help an organism survive.
evolve from a frog to a prince or from rocks to man. That's just not
Haha, haha, so funny. I mean, like every creationist just do this bullshit right until, oh, how can we evolve from a laptop to a GPS? Or how can you evolve from a disc to a slip? Like it's so stupid. This process happened over billions of years. This process happened over millions of years. It took a long time for the traits to add up to diverse organisms on Earth, leading to us. But I guess God did it, and there's no need to present any evidence that this God even exists.
how it works. That's not how biology works. That's not how science works. Science
And who is better to tell us but Matt Powell, because obviously he's a scientist and he knows how biology works.
shows us that everything produces after its kind, and that organisms will reproduce other organisms that still remain in the family. So if you have a cat, it's going to create more cats. If you have a dog, it's going to create more dogs. There are limitations to what mutations can do. Mutations can only cause us to devolve over time and not evolve. And this is why evolution is not true. It is not part of science. Because if you look at the human genome, you're going to find that there's more mutations in the offspring than in the parent. That means that mutations are accumulating, mutations cause us to die, and mutations will eventually cause us to become extinct. if the Lord doesn't come back and save us before then, which he promises to do. Check this out. It says, turns out all of humanity is related to a single couple. A new study reveals that all humans are descendants of the same man and woman. In biology for majors, it states that a mutation is a change that occurs in our DNA sequence due to mistakes when the DNA is copied. Mutations can occur during DNA replication if errors are made and not corrected in time. Mutations can also disrupt normal gene activity and cause diseases, like cancer. Cancer is the most common human genetic disease. It is caused by mutations. Mutations will not turn you from a frog to a prince over millions of years. Mutations actually cause us to devolve. In science,
If good mutations adds on over time, it actually will help.
we're actually devolving. We're not evolving. Our genetics are becoming worse, not better. The second law of thermodynamics is true, that everything is tending towards chaos and not order. Mutations are a result of human sin, and suffering is a result of our wrong decisions in life.
The hell mutations are a result of humans' sin? Are you okay? So we're how does this work? And I try to like put this out there every time that some dumb Christians try to bring this dumb thing up that we were born with sin. How does this stupidity work? We are born with sin, but not no individual, because you're just born, is choosing to sin. So God thinks it's okay or it's moral and good of him to pass on the generational curse from Adam to everybody else. Because that's something a loving God would do. It doesn't make any damn sense. If there's a generational curse, this is what happens when they start smacking attributes on God. If there's a generational curse, that just shows this God is not good. A child did not choose to be sinful. He was born with a sin that was applied on him or her or whatever they are by God. So how is that the child's fault? And then when I point this out to Christians that say, oh, if a child dies, they're going to heaven, or God has some divine plan for that. No, they're going to hell. Because literally it says it right here. Everyone is born with sin, a passed down generational curse from God. So the Canaanites, everyone that was wiped out, including the children, who did not know what the fuck was happening, were going to hell. The global flood that apparently happened, they all are going to hell. You can't have it both sides. You can't have it both ways. You can't just be saying this and then contradicting yourself in the next seconds. It doesn't make any logical sense.
The Bible says, "Wherefore, as by one man sin entered into the world, and death by sin. And so death passed upon all men, for that all have sinned." In creation science,
Yeah, I was not Adam. Adam is not me. If Adam sinned and then the sin passed on, there's only one person that made that amazing decision, God. And it's a terrible decision, which shows that he's not really loving. It's just a dumb claim from the Bible, which, like all the other claims, are not true. But that's all I have for you for part 5. Catch you in the next one. Thank you all for watching. Have a good day.